Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. About 2 years ago, I made a video and uploaded it to YouTube talking about how I invested my money as a 22-year-old. Ironically enough, the day following uploading that video, the market crashes about 20% and we end up having the whole coronavirus pandemic thing just absolutely tanked the market. So I have absolutely radically changed my investment portfolio since then, and I want to give an update based on how I have changed my investment strategy. And just to break it all down, I currently have a Roth IRA with E-Trade, and I have a brokerage account with E-Trade, and I have a brokerage account with Webull. Those are my primary accounts that I use for investing. I do all of my IRA investing myself and with my other brokerage accounts, obviously. I don't use any automated investing software, although I am looking to see if I can find one that I like using. My biggest problem with them is they usually have high expense fees, but for everything that I'm gonna show you right now, it's all stocks that I have picked myself. Now, I won't be going through every single investment, but I'm just gonna be highlighting the top 10 of them and talking about my analysis and why I invested and why I think they're a good long-term hold and what the performance has done since I've been holding them. These will be in order from the lowest dollar amount to the highest dollar amount. Starting off with number 10, that's going to be OLD, ticker symbol OLD. And this is a long-term care ETF. I certainly believe that over the next 10 years, as the United States population ages, we're gonna see a lot more people transition into more nursing homes and require more medical assistance. I started this investment probably around 5 years ago, and it's returned around a 17% return since then, which may sound good, but when you put in the broader context of how much the SPY has returned since then, it's usually not been great. I'm actually looking to sell this one and transition into it to another long-term care ETF just because this one really isn't doing the performance that I thought it would. Moving on to my second investment, and that is Kroger, ticker symbol KR. And I have about $2,000 in Kroger, and I really like this company. This is going to be a hold that I have for the rest of my life. Personally, I just believe that Kroger is a fantastic and a very well-run company. They pay their employees well, they pay their investors well, and they're just really on the forefront of innovation. For those of you who don't know, Kroger is a grocery store here in Cincinnati, and they also own some subsidiaries like Ralph's out in California, but they really put an emphasis on technology, and they have an absolutely fantastic mobile app. They have a great user experience when you walk into the store. They put a good investment on the big data that they collect from their customer base. And that's kind of why I see the true value in Kroger. They don't have great profit margins. The profit margins are about less than 1%. But just moving forward, I think that they're just going to do extremely well. I'm up close to about 40% on them from my initial investment a few years ago. And so I really just look to hold. They pay a good dividend. And this is just a very safe, stable stock that I could see doing very well moving forward. The next stock on our list is Microsoft. And for those of you who may not know, Microsoft also owns Xbox and LinkedIn. Yes! I think LinkedIn is going to be Microsoft's next big product. It's been growing tremendously in the social media space for more of a professional social media site, and their users have gone up. They just purchased Lynda Learning, which I think is a fantastic investment. And so I'll look to Microsoft for the future to be another long-term, ironically, blue chip company that we can just turn to have a very good long-term track record that I'll be holding for a very long time. The next stock on the list is Apple, and Apple has been a very good investment for me over the past few years now. And Apple's new M1 chips are just really something incredible. The fact that they were able to take ARM technology and have it emulate x86 and all of this very advanced coding standards that we take for granted, just being able to turn on our computers, is really cool. I did pick up the MacBook Air, have it right here, and I just use it for some basic productivity tasks. I really do enjoy it, and I'll be looking to pick up the M2 when it becomes available. Apple just really is one of those stocks that I just think is going to do well for the next decade just because of how much impact they have on the world around us. You see everyone with iPhones, iMessage, AirPods, now MacBooks. They're really revolutionizing every industry, and if there's some tech product that exists out there, Apple will find a way to dip their toes into it and make it better. Next stock on the list is SPY, and this is just a big ETF of that tracks the SPY 500. This is a State Street's solution to as an index fund to track the SPY's performance. And this was really just, you know, a long-term hold for me. This isn't money. This was in my Roth. So I just think this is going to be money I'll just set aside for when I retire. I don't need to pay attention to it. I have about $2,500, so just a couple shares, but it's just something that I don't really have to worry about it. I don't have to actively manage it. I can just really set it off to the side, let it go up over time or down. If it goes down, I'll end up buying more, but not too much, not very interesting here. Moving on to the next stock. Next one on our list is in my Roth as well. This is XLP, and this is a consumer defensive staple ETF that encompasses tickers like Costco and Walmart and probably Kroger's in there of some sort, but it's just a very safe, they all very like Dow blue chip companies that they're safe investments. And that's kind of the majority of my investment portfolio is I don't really like to do a whole lot of risky stuff. I will dabble in options now and again, but I like to keep things pretty basic. So this is just a really good long-term hold that I can put in my Roth IRA and not have to worry about it. And now the next stock on the list is Google. And I am a huge fan of Google. If you don't know, Google does own YouTube, and YouTube has just been an absolutely incredible platform for Google. They purchased them in 2005, which has to be one of the all-time best investments ever. It has just generated so much money for the company. And I just don't see that slowing down anytime soon. There's just no competitors for YouTube. You do have some like Locals and I'm sure there's some other ones. Vimeo is another one, but just nowhere near the market cap of what Google has, of what YouTube has encompassed in there. And they also have the search engine, and there's also a service called Waymo that Google owns that is self-driving technology. And Google has just been on the forefront of literally everything else, just like Apple, but in a little bit different direction. So in the future, I'll be holding this for a very long time just because I just see how much value this company has. And the next stock on the list is Amazon. And if you're living under a rock and you don't know what Amazon is one of the largest e-commerce sites, is probably the largest e-commerce sites that promises 2-day delivery, Amazon Prime. So many people love Mr. Bezos's company. So I just think this is gonna be a great long-term solution. Amazon Cloud Computing is really incredible. I've used it for work, and I just think this is gonna be a fantastic long-term play. I am curious that there may be some other smaller companies like Didi and Pinduoduo out in China that have started to rival Amazon, and they don't really have the market penetration in other sectors or in other countries, but I would like to see how Amazon performs without Mr. Bezos at the helm, leaving the CEO position and pursuing other opportunities with Blue Origin. I would like to see how the new CEO does and what new practices and new business ventures he has in store. And for the 9th position on our list is NUSI. And you've probably not heard of NUSI. NUSI is a nationwide risk asset management ticker. And what it does is it seeks to basically just be an income derived. It's really designed for retired people, but I have been using this because I personally just believe that the market is very overvalued, and we could see some correction of some sort. Granted, I have not been right yet, but we may see one coming forward with interest rates going up in probably very soon as inflation starts to pick up. But NUSI seeks to buy QQQ or buy the NASDAQ and then sell covered calls and then use the premium with the covered calls it generates to buy protective puts. And so it basically kind of revolves in a range of around like $23 to $28 a share. And I know that I can just pour a bunch of money in here and not really have to worry about it long term. And this is not a long-term investment for me. This is just something short-term that I think I can have some money in. I want to use this money to buy a house, so I don't really want to have all this money tied up in something more risky, like a individual stock, which could have bad news or a bad quarter, and the market tank for it. And so just keeping this in a ETF that is kind of range bound. And I recommend NUSI if you want to have this money in the market, but you don't really want to have it subject to the volatility of what we've been seeing the last 6 months in the market. And so NUSI is not going to go out and get you 15% returns in 1 month. Off my total investment, I'm only up probably 3-4% in the last 6 months, but it does pay about an 8% dividend a year, so that is something to consider. But my largest investment right now is GUSD with BlockFi. BlockFi is an interest account that you can get that will pay interest on your crypto, which I think is just a really neat idea. It is not FDIC insured, so there is a little bit of risk to it. And so how it works is you deposit GUSD, which is a stable coin that was created by Gemini, and they will pay up to 7.5% interest on your uninvested cash. And so like I said, I am probably looking to buy a house in the next 2 years or so I don't want to have this money in the market, you know, maybe subject to volatility. So I'd like to have this much more safe. And so I have about $20,000 in GUSD. This is just, again, a very safe play for me, because if I keep it in a savings account, it's what, gonna earn maybe like 0.2% a year? I mean, that's terrible. I'd like to get a better return than that. And I know I'll get a comment saying like, why don't you just put this in NUSI, or JEPI is another safe one that I have. And the reasoning behind that is because I like to diversify. I like to have different avenues. We could get a huge market tank and NUSI could go down to its lowest point ever. We just don't know. And so I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I know all the solutions, I know all the answers. So this is just really a play that I can diversify my investment portfolio to have different options available. If we do see a giant market correction, I might take some money out of GUSD, put it back into the stock market. I just don't like having all my eggs in one basket. And so all of the stocks that I just mentioned are all of my larger holdings. I didn't mention any of the smaller ones. I do have smaller ones like American Express, Verizon, Walmart, Target, Facebook, and actually my favorite one and the biggest performer in my portfolio for an honorable mention is NAVI. NAVI is a student debt repayment software and service that ever since Joe Biden has said that his administration will no longer be forgiving student loans, this stock has just exploded in growth, and their PE is somewhere around like 4. It's super low, and they're a very tech-centered company. So I really just see this being just going to the moon, because right now I bought this stock when it was around $11. It's up to about $20. I wish I would have bought more. I only put in like $1,000 or so, and now it's up to, you know, about a 70% growth on it. So I mean, that's just absolutely incredible. But I did actually buy more. I was so certain on this company. I picked up a couple call options on this ticker as well, just because, I mean, it's just been a consistent performer, you know, over the last 6-7 months or so. And so I really think this is just going to keep going up as more people, you know, continue to pay off their student loans. But with that being said, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to like this video and hit the subscribe button if you want to see content similar to this one. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to leave me a comment if you have any suggestions or if you have any questions about my investment portfolio. I will read all of them and try to reply to them as well. Thanks again. Talk to you guys next time. See you later.